Hey there everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Night Build series. In this video we're going to be going through the 3 skills Holy Shield, Frenzy and Lay on Hands. These 2 skills are a little bit simpler than the previous skills we went through. I've just come from recording the episode 2 and episode 3 I did literally just now, and I went into quite a lot of detail on those skills. These 3 skills are luckily a little bit simpler, so let's get into the first one here. Holy Shield, what this does is it adds a little bubble shield on top of your health. This shield will not really show, other than an animation. I'll show the animation now. You'll get a little bubble onto you, and when this bursts, or when it gets dealt too much damage, it will break and you'll start taking health again. Now it's worth 25% of your health, and it won't actually burst when you get dealt that damage. You'll just start taking damage to your health. So anyway, it lasts 5 seconds. The cooldown is 15 seconds. This I mentioned in the previous video how Protector is not the defense skill which I spam. This skill, Holy Shield, is the one which I spam. Reason being is the cooldown's only 15 seconds, which it may sound like a long time compared to like damage skills, but really it's not that long. You can use this quite frequently, and it's just going to help you survive generally by adding this little bubble on top of your health that stops you from taking a bit of damage for a little bit. But yeah, so you just spam it like crazy and it helps you survive. That's pretty much how this skill works. Now, it doesn't look like much from the base skill, and you'll be right if you think that. However, looking at Skuruns is where it really goes nuts. They added 2, which are Shield of Light and Shield of Frost, which are essentially the same. They just deal light damage or water damage, but the damage is like 1 hit, which is a very small hit, so it's not the reason to use it. The main reason to use it, we'll just show you on Shield of Frost here, it puts a 0.4 damage reduction buff when the shield ends for 5 seconds. Now this 0.4 is actually 40% damage reduction for 5 seconds after the thing ends. So that's kind of nuts, because if you remember the skill Protector, even just with 10 points in here, it has damage reduction of 60%. Stack that with 40% damage reduction from here, and whoa, you've got 100%. You're invincible. So yeah, that's where this kind of goes crazy, and that's why you want to be spamming this skill like crazy, because it doesn't even matter. Say this 25% health shield, like, you know, it's not that big. It's going to go quite quickly. It's obviously not going to go here, and I can't really show it very well here in this content because I'm in a story map. But it will go quite quickly. The main bonus you're going to get to your character is those 5 seconds of 5 seconds of 40% damage reduction added to your character. Now I've got a cooldown potion on, which means I can spam this really frequently, and you'll see here I can spam it every 7 seconds. Now let's just theoretically say it takes 2 seconds for the shield to be broken. You're in a bit of content, it's going to be broken pretty quickly, and it only lasts 2 seconds before it's gone. You've then got the damage reduction for 5 seconds, and oh, suddenly it's off cooldown, you're using it again. You've then got the shield for 2 seconds, and then you've got the damage reduction for 5 seconds, and it's giving you a constant benefit by spamming the skill. And looking at that again, you've got the 40% damage reduction for 5 out of 7 of the seconds, which there's only a 2-second window where you don't have it on. And then if you think about Protector here, with Protector on the cooldown potion, you can have that for 10 seconds out of the 13 seconds. And well, if the 2 combine, you're invincible. So actually the windows where you can actually get hurt at all are very slim. And when those windows are, there's a bubble shield there protecting you from any damage. And then even if they do get through you, well, you have the spikes buff that's giving you armor, extra bonus armor. Yeah, it goes kind of crazy. These things stack up, and that's really where defense skills go nuts on Knight, is that when you use Holy Shield and you use Protector and you use spikes, just those 3 skills alone give you so much damage reduction that there are so few windows where people can actually enemies can actually hurt you. And then you've got Angelic Form, which is just the sort of ultimate defense that we'll get to in a later video. But that can, cover any little gaps. You also got Lay of Hands, which we'll get into later, which can heal you up and give you a bubble shield. It goes crazy. Holy Shield, I would say, is the thing that ties it all together. Because Holy Shield you can use so frequently, it gives you that both a shield and also the damage reduction, which both work together to really help things work. nicely. And obviously the cases I was talking about there with the stacking all together and being invincible practically constantly, that is with a cooldown potion. And cooldown potions on each of the classes just break the game because you get crazy stuff like this happening. Without a cooldown potion on, this skill is not nuts. But spamming it frequently, you're going to have it on maybe like half the time it's doing stuff for you, and it's going to really help help your character survive. I would spam this in both PvE and PvP. Now, if you read here, it says shield damage and absorption is reduced by 60%. In PvP, they just destroy this skill. It doesn't do anything. The base skill does practically nothing. However, with Skurrins, they still have the full effect. So this Shield of Frost, Shield of Light, those will still add 40% damage reduction for 5 seconds. That's basically the only use of using this skill in PvP. So that's pretty much enough to go through on that skill. I'm just going to... There are 2 more things to talk about. Firstly, number of skill points in it. So I would definitely recommend 10. The reason being spamming it. You want to be able to spam this, and if you push it up to 99, it goes up to, I believe, 30 seconds cooldown. I think it doubles. Something ridiculous like that. Now, the first 10 points in it, going up to 20, does quite an interesting thing. It increases the duration of the shield. When we first got up to 99 points, I sort of theorized about this. I tried playing with it. I tried thinking, okay, what can we do with this? Is there a benefit to be gained here? And I ultimately decided that no, there isn't. Having a longer duration on the shield doesn't matter that much because the shield isn't that big. That your main benefit is from the damage reduction buff. The shield's just an extra little bonus, which is kind of ironic because that's what the base skill gives. And the cooldown increasing is a problem. You just actually maybe it goes to 20 seconds. I can't remember exactly, but basically you want to keep the cooldown as low as possible. So don't put any points in this skill. Just use it as 10 and then pick a good Skurrin for it. The other thing to note, you might have noticed already when I use this area is clear. This has farming use. It's kind of weird because it's a defense skill, but it is kind of nuts for farming. So when the shield ends, if you've taken damage while the shield has been up, then it explodes and does a very small amount of damage. But in farming, small amount of damage does not matter. It just bursts and destroys an area. So it takes a bit of practice. It takes some, a little bit of tactics of where you're going to use this, because you need to know, okay, it's going to be exploding in 5 seconds. I want it to explode in X location, so I need to be using it 5 seconds before I get there. So you've really got to have your strategy for the map and really planned out where you're going to be doing things. But this skill can come into it very nicely to clear certain big areas when you're timed before. So that's this skill as a whole. Kind of cool. It's the only one that's complicated here. So Frenzy is the next one. As you can see, lovely short little bit of text. Increases your attack rate by 60% for 10 seconds. That's what this does. Getting this to 99 points is a lot better. It makes the skill just function a lot better because they decide to kind of revamp it with that. So the cooldown comes down to 30 seconds. The duration doesn't change, but the attack rate goes up from 60% boost to 120% boost. Now, attack speed is limited in all kinds of content, so even if you hit the max attack speed, it's not incredibly fast. So therefore, an increase of 60% or 120% is actually pretty useful for improving your basic attacks. It's not necessarily a route that I'd want to go down, but it is definitely something which can work on the class. With certain Skurrins, they've done interesting things with the Skurrins, so there's definitely stuff to be done there. I definitely, if I were you, I'd look at the Skurrins, see if there's anything which takes your interest that you think, okay, maybe this could work. But I would say that this skill definitely functions a lot better if you can put 99 points in it and can afford the mana cost of it. The only thing to note here that's specific is this Skurrin Thrill of the Hunt. This is the silent skill for Knight, and I know because I play Wizard in PvP that this basically locks down Wizards completely. So this is the best silent skill in any class that's come out so far, at least, because it keeps reapplying the silence every 3 hits that you do on the target, and it will essentially stop them from using any skills. On Wizard, what it does especially is it stops them from teleporting away, so you just sort of get this Wizard stuck to you, and the Wizard also, practically half their skills are getting interrupted. There's 2 seconds of silence, and then a 1 second window where they have immunity to it, before then you can silence them again. And even in that 1 second of immunity, it's really hard for wizards to kind of get any skills off. So they kind of become unable to use any skills for the whole duration of this Thrill of the Hunt, as long as you're doing some basic attacks on them. So it's a kind of wizard killer. It works very well if you can kind of get used to how to use it. But otherwise, this skill just increases your attack rate. I'm going to see if I can show it here. If you can see the swing rate, like we got the explosion here. That's the sort of swing rate, and then if I use it, I'm going to be swinging a bit faster. If you can see, it's hard to really show. But anyway, the attack rate increases of your basic attacks, and it's a nice little boost there. Helps some things function. I'd say ultimately Scurryings are really where you want to go with it. Certain Scurryings that give you a great benefit. That's what you'd want to use it for. Lay on Hands. This is a pretty cool skill. However, it's got a very long cooldown. That's the first thing to note. It's basically a full heal. It's like using a potion. And it's really hard to kind of argue why you'd use this over just a potion. But potions are consumables and they get used up. And this is very nice to just suddenly use and full heal yourself. So previously, in old school game, in the old days of this game, you could only have 5 skills equipped. And I would never recommend having this in your 5 skills because it's just not really something that's adding a lot while it's on your hotbar. And with such a long cooldown, it's hard to kind of see where you'd use it. You kind of want to switch it in, use it, switch it back out. However, now we can have 10 skills. It is quite easy to slip this in somewhere and just have, a little bit less damage output, but you have this reliability of being able to heal yourself up. So the cooldown is quite long, but the power of this skill just to full heal you instantly is definitely there. What I think makes this really interesting is a particular Scurrying Protective Waves. Now, there are a few Scurryings which do a few different things. If there's anything which takes your fancy in particular, or a later Scurrying that's very powerful, then definitely take a look at them. This is a particular one which I like. It puts a health shield on you. It's not so clear from the description, but it basically puts a health shield on you worth 100% of your health. So not only does it full heal you, but it also gives you It gives you like an extra 100% health for the next, I believe, 5 seconds, something like that. So when you use this, not only you're making yourself safe then, but you're making yourself safe for the next few seconds. Now, we were talking at the beginning of this video about stacking all these defense buffs up like Holy Shield and Protector and Spikes, and then there being some little windows where you can be hurt. Well, if you notice your health going down and that you are taking damage, suddenly here you can just full heal yourself and protect you for the next few seconds. It's a lovely little kind of gap filler skill, and that's really where I'd say this comes into play. So I can't really show this in combat other than just to kind of show you the skill being used. That's it there. You get the health shield on, and you can see there it lasts for about 5 seconds before disappearing. It doesn't do any damage, it's just giving you extra defense. Putting in 99 points in this, it gives you a heal over time. This increases to 100%, so basically full heals you over the next 10 seconds. I'd say if you're not using Protective Waves, if you're using some later Scurrying that has some cool effect, then I could definitely see a benefit of this. However, with Protective Waves, the two are kind of counterintuitive, because you've got a health shield there for the next next 5 seconds, so you're not actually taking any damage, so you don't need a heal over time, and the mana cost is nuts, because it goes from 90 to 360. You already have so many skills on the class which have a heavy mana cost, because so many of them are great to get to 99, that I would say this is one of the skills which I personally would not take up to 99. Even if I had limitless mana, not limitless, even if I had thousands of mana, I wouldn't want to be putting so much mana into this, because I want the other skills to be functioning. But anyway, there's stuff there for you, and like I said, if you're using a different Scurrying which is having some extra powerful effect, and you want the heal over time from this, it's definitely something you could be looking into. So that's it for these 3 skills. Not really much action to show here, it's mostly just defense and support stuff, but I hope you have a great understanding of these 3 skills. This is the sort of spam defense skill that just ties everything together, makes the class work really nicely. It's with the particular Scurryings, Shield of Frost or Shield of Light, or any other ones which give you a 40% damage reduction for the next 5 seconds. That's the main benefit you're getting from this here. The other one, the next skill is Frenzy. This works a lot better with 99 points in it, because the cooldown comes to 30 seconds, and the attack speed buff is not enormously useful, but it does definitely synergize with a few other Skuruns and a few other skills. Like it can make you do a little bit more damage. I'd say the main benefit from this is with particular Skuruns for certain effects. So take a look at the Skuruns and see if there's anything there which is worth using this for. Then we have Lay on Hands, which is an instant full heal that with Skuruns can be even more defensive and with extra points in, which although the mana cost goes extreme, it gives you a heal over time that could be beneficial. So that's those three skills. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.